My name is Mara Chen, and I learned that the people who smile the brightest at your success are sometimes the ones plotting your downfall. Let me tell you what happened to me. I thought I'd landed my dream job, senior software engineer at CloudSync, one of the fastest growing tech companies on the West Coast. The offer letter was perfect: 180,000 salary, equity package, remote flexibility, the kind of position I'd been working toward for years. I'd aced every interview, 5 rounds. Technical assessments, culture fit conversations. The recruiter, Tom Benson, had been nothing but professional throughout the entire process. Then, 48 hours before my start date, my phone started buzzing. LinkedIn messages, emails from former colleagues, DMs from people I barely knew, screenshots from complete strangers. At first, I thought maybe someone had hacked my account, some kind of phishing scam. But when I opened the messages, my stomach dropped. Someone had posted a video of me drunk at what looked like a tech conference after party, slurring my words, using racial slurs I'd never even thought, saying women don't belong in engineering, laughing about diversity hires. The video was everywhere. Twitter, Reddit, LinkedIn, anonymous tech forums. Except it wasn't me. The face was mine. The voice sounded exactly like mine. Even the mannerisms, the way I tucked my hair behind my ear, the slight tilt of my head when I talked. But I had never said those words. I had never been to that party. I didn't even drink that kind of beer the person in the video was holding. I stared at my phone, watching this digital version of myself destroy everything I'd worked for, and I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking so hard I had to set the phone down on my kitchen counter. The apartment suddenly felt too small, the walls pressing in. By the time I understood what was happening, what deepfake technology could do, how convincing AI-generated content had become, my offer was already rescinded. The email from CloudSync HR came at 6:47 a.m. the next morning. Professional, cold, citing concerns about cultural fit and information that came to our attention. No specifics, no chance to defend myself, just a polite corporate execution. The recruiter who'd helped me navigate the entire process, Tom Benson, his phone went straight to voicemail, his email bounced back, his LinkedIn profile disappeared within hours. And the person behind all of it, the one who'd paid to have those videos created, who'd orchestrated my professional assassination, turned out to be the last person I ever expected. Someone who'd shared a bedroom with me growing up. The morning the rescission email arrived, I was still in my pajamas, sitting at my kitchen table with cold coffee and a bagel I couldn't eat. My phone kept lighting up with messages, most of them from people I hadn't talked to in years. Mara, is this really you in this video? I can't believe you'd say something like that. I thought you were better than this. A few people, my closest friends, my former mentor from my first engineering job, reached out with concern. This doesn't sound like you. What's going on? But even in their messages, I could feel the doubt, the little seed of, but what if it's real? I tried calling CloudSync's HR department directly, left 3 voicemails, sent 2 emails explaining that the videos were fabricated, that I'd never attended that event, that this was clearly a deepfake attack. I even found articles about AI-generated video manipulation and attached them as evidence. Nothing. By day 3, my LinkedIn had 47 new messages. Half were supportive, half were not. Someone had created a Twitter thread exposing me, complete with screenshots and timestamps. The videos had been shared in multiple Slack communities I was part of. I watched my professional network fracture in real time. My college roommate Sophia called me that evening. Mara, what the hell happened? It's not real, I said, hearing how hollow my voice sounded. None of it is real. Someone made those videos using AI. I don't even know how they got enough footage of me to train the model. But who would do that? She interrupted. Who would go through that much trouble? I didn't have an answer yet, but I was about to find out. To understand how it got to this point, I need to go back. Not to the job offer, not to CloudSync, back to when I was 7 years old and my brother Derek was 9. We grew up in a suburb outside Seattle. Our father, Min Jun, had immigrated from South Korea in his 20s and worked his way up to senior systems architect at Microsoft. Our mother, Beth, was a high school math teacher. Both of them valued education above almost everything else. Achievement, excellence, results. Derek and I were both pushed to succeed. But here's the thing about siblings sometimes. No matter how hard you both try, one of you is just naturally better at the things your parents value most. I was that kid. Not because I was trying to show him up. I just got it. Math made sense to me. Programming felt like solving puzzles. I'd spend hours building little games in Scratch when I was 8, then Python when I was 12. I won science fairs, got into advanced placement classes, scored near perfect on my SATs. Derek struggled. He wasn't bad at school. He was average. B's and C's. He'd study for hours and still barely pass tests I could ace without trying. And our parents, God, they meant well, but they didn't know how to hide their disappointment. Why can't you focus like your sister? Dad would say at dinner, looking at Derek's report card. Mara got another scholarship offer. Mom would announce, beaming. Then she'd glance at Derek. You could try applying for that programming camp too, honey. I watched my brother shrink a little bit every time. Watched him smile and say, that's great, Mara, while his jaw stayed tight. I tried not to talk about my achievements around him. Tried to downplay my acceptances to Stanford, to MIT. Tried to be a good sister, but the damage was already done. Derek went to University of Washington, studied computer science because I realized now he thought it was the only way to prove himself to Dad. He graduated with a 2.8 GPA, got a job at a mid-sized software company, got laid off 8 months later, found another job, left after a year, then another, then another. Meanwhile, I went to Stanford, graduated top of my class, got recruited by 3 different companies, chose the one with the best engineering culture, got promoted twice in 4 years, started speaking at conferences, built a reputation. I didn't do it to compete with him. I swear I didn't. But that's how he saw it. The distance between us grew. Phone calls became shorter. Family dinners became tense. Derek's comments got sharper. Must be nice to have companies fighting over you, he'd say. Some of us have to actually work for our success, he'd mutter when Dad praised my latest project. I guess being the golden child has its perks, he'd add when I mentioned a raise. I tried to talk to him about it once, 2 years ago. We were both home for Thanksgiving. I found him in the garage, smoking a cigarette he tried to hide when I walked in. Derek, are we okay? I asked. He laughed, bitter and short. We're fine, Mara. You're fine. You're always fine. That's not what I meant. I feel like you're angry with me, and I don't know what I did. You didn't do anything. He cut me off. That's the problem. You didn't have to do anything. It all just comes to you. The jobs, the praise, the perfect life. Meanwhile, he stopped, took a drag. Forget it. I should have pushed harder, should have made him talk to me, but I didn't. I just let it sit there, this poison between us, thinking maybe time would fix it. 3 months ago, I got the interview request from CloudSync. It felt like the culmination of everything I'd been working toward. I was excited, nervous, hopeful. We had a family dinner the week I got the final offer. Mom made her famous pot roast. Dad opened a bottle of wine. I waited until dessert to share the news. I got an offer from CloudSync, I said, trying not to sound too proud. Senior engineer. It's really good. Mom hugged me. Dad raised his glass. That's my daughter, he said, and I saw him glance at Derek, just for a second. Derek was cutting his pie into smaller and smaller pieces, not eating any of it. When everyone turned to him, expecting him to say something, he looked up and smiled. Congrats, little sis, he said. His voice was steady, calm. That's amazing. But his eyes were empty. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Didn't notice that he left early, barely touching his dessert. Didn't notice that he didn't text me congratulations later, like he usually did after family announcements. Looking back now, I can see it. That was the moment he made his decision. That was the moment my brother decided to destroy me. When the deepfake videos first appeared, I did what anyone would do. I panicked. Then I tried to prove they were fake. I downloaded every video I could find, hoping there'd be some obvious glitch, some telltale sign that would convince people this wasn't real. But whoever made them had been careful, professional. The videos were too clean. The lighting matched a supposed venue. The background conversations were ambient and realistic. My drunk mannerisms were consistent throughout. Even the timestamp metadata looked legitimate. I spent 2 days trying to handle it myself, filing reports with social media platforms, emailing moderators of the tech forums where the videos had spread, sending desperate messages to people I knew asking them to help debunk it. Nothing worked. For every video I got taken down, 3 more would pop up somewhere else. That's when I realized I needed help. Real help. I found Diane Kovac through a colleague who dealt with a revenge porn situation years ago. Diane specialized in digital defamation, deepfakes, synthetic media, online harassment campaigns. Her consultation fee was $500 for the first hour. I paid it without hesitation. We met in her downtown office on a gray Tuesday morning. She was in her 50s, sharp-eyed, with the kind of calm competence that comes from seeing the worst of what people do to each other online. "I've seen 3 cases like yours this month," she said after I explained everything. "Deepfake technology is getting cheaper and easier to access. We need to approach this systematically." She pulled up one of the videos on her computer, watched it 3 times in a row, making notes. "Okay," she said finally. "First, we need forensic analysis of these files. There are always artifacts, compression patterns, framing consistencies, audio-visual desync. Most people won't see them, but specialists can. Second, we need to trace the origin. Where were these first posted? Who posted them? That's going to be harder, but we have tools. How much is this going to cost?" I asked, already knowing the answer wouldn't be good. "For a full investigation and cleanup campaign? Between $15,000 and $30,000, depending on how deep this goes." I felt sick. That was half my savings. "Do it," I said. Over the next 2 weeks, Diane's team worked. They found things I never could have found on my own. The videos had been created using a commercial deepfake service, not one of the open-source tools, but a paid platform that advertised Hollywood-quality synthetic media for marketing and entertainment. Someone had uploaded approximately 47 minutes of source footage of me cobbled together from conference talks I'd given, interviews I'd done, even some personal videos from my Instagram stories. The metadata showed the videos were created over a 3-week period, right around the time I was going through final interviews with CloudSync. Then came the connection to Tom Benson. Diane's investigator found that Tom wasn't actually employed by any major recruiting firm. He worked for a small, barely legitimate agency called TalentBridge Solutions that had a history of creative recruitment practices, which was code for bending rules and occasionally breaking laws for the right price. Public records showed TalentBridge had been flagged twice by the Better Business Bureau. One complaint involved fabricated reference checks. Another involved a candidate whose credentials had been mysteriously leaked to competitors. "Someone paid him," Diane said during our 3rd meeting. "The question is who?" I had a sick feeling I already knew, but I needed proof. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A guy named Jason Kim, someone Derek had worked with at his previous job, reached out to me through a burner email account. The subject line read, "You should know what your brother did." My heart stopped when I saw Derek's name. Jason's email was short. "I don't know if this matters, but Derek was talking a lot about you a few months ago, asking questions about deepfakes. He seemed really interested in how they worked. Then he asked me if I knew anyone who could handle a competitor problem. I thought he meant for work. Now I'm not so sure. I'm sorry. I should have said something sooner. I read it 5 times. Then I called Diane. "We need to look at Derek's financials," I told her. "That's going to be tricky unless you have access," she said carefully. I did, sort of. When our grandmother died 3 years ago, she'd left a small emergency fund that Derek and I were both authorized to access. It was meant for family crises, medical emergencies, urgent home repairs, that kind of thing. Neither of us had touched it in years. I logged into the account that night, hands shaking. There, 3 months ago, $8,500 withdrawal. Memo, professional services. 2 weeks later, another $3,000. Same memo. I pulled up Derek's Venmo. He'd never bothered to make it private. Public transactions showed multiple payments to someone named T. Benson over the past 4 months. Small amounts. $200 here, $500 there. The kind of payments that wouldn't raise flags individually but added up to 2000s. I sat in my dark apartment, staring at my laptop screen, feeling like someone had reached into my chest and crushed my heart with their bare hands. My brother, my own brother, he hadn't just competed with me, he'd tried to annihilate me. I didn't sleep that night, didn't eat. Just sat there with evidence scattered across my coffee table, bank statements, emails, screenshots, building a case against my own family. By morning, I'd made my decision. I called Diane. I know who did this. Are you sure you want to pursue this? She asked gently. If it's who I think it is based on what you've told me, family cases get complicated. I'm sure, I said. Set up a meeting. I needed to face Derek. Not for closure, not for an apology, but because he needed to see that I knew that this time he couldn't hide behind his resentment and excuses. I arranged to meet Derek at a cafe in Fremont, neutral territory, public enough that he couldn't make a scene, quiet enough that we could talk. I brought Diane with me, told him it was important, told him we needed to discuss a family matter. He showed up 15 minutes late, looking annoyed. When he saw Diane sitting next to me, his expression shifted. Confusion, then something else. Wariness. What's going on? He asked, still standing. Sit down, Derek, I said quietly. He sat, looked between us. Who's this? This is Diane Kovac. She's a digital forensics attorney. She's been helping me investigate the deepfake videos that destroyed my job offer. I watched his face, watched him try to keep it neutral, but there just for a second a flicker of panic in his eyes. That's awful. What happened to you? He said carefully. But I don't understand why you need a lawyer. I know you did it. I cut him off. Silence. The espresso machine hissed in the background. Someone laughed at another table. Normal life continuing around us while mine fell apart. What? Derek's voice was too high, defensive. That's insane. Why would I slid the folder across the table. Bank statements, Venmo transactions, the email from Jason, screenshots of Tom Benson's connection to Talent Bridge. Because you paid Tom Benson $11,500 through our grandmother's emergency fund and your personal Venmo to create deepfake videos of me and distribute them right before my start date at CloudSync. Derek opened the folder. His hands were shaking. He stared at the evidence for a long time without saying anything. It was just supposed to delay your start date, he finally said, voice barely above a whisper. Not ruin you completely. My stomach turned. So it was true. Hearing him admit it even partially made it real in a way it hadn't been before. Just delay it? I repeated, voice rising despite myself. Derek, do you understand what you did? Those videos are still online. My name is attached to racial slurs and misogyny. I lost a $180,000 job. Companies are blacklisting me. I've spent $15,000 trying to clean this up. You always land on your feet. He exploded, slamming his hand on the table. Other patrons turned to look. You always have another offer, another opportunity. I just needed something to go my way for once. You needed to destroy your sister? Diane's voice was cold, professional. Mr. Chen, you're aware this constitutes multiple felonies, identity theft, fraud, defamation. I didn't think it would go this far, Derek said, and I heard something crack in his voice. Tom said it would just create enough doubt that they'd postpone your start date. Give me time to. I was supposed to interview at CloudSync too, for a mid-level position. I thought if I could just get in there, if I could just prove I was good enough, and there it was. The truth underneath everything. You thought sabotaging me would make you look better, I said slowly. You don't get it. His eyes were red now, wet with tears he was trying to hold back. You've never had to fight for anything. You don't know what it's like to watch everyone celebrate your sibling while you're just there, just existing in her shadow. Do you have any idea how many times Dad compared me to you? How many times Mom would sigh when I brought home my report card? So you decided to ruin my life, I said flatly. I decided to level the playing field, he shot back. Just once. Just this one time. I stared at my brother, at this person I'd grown up with, shared a home with, loved despite everything, and realized I didn't know him at all. Or maybe I'd never wanted to see who he really was. There's a criminal case here, Diane said, breaking the silence. Miss Chen could file charges. The evidence is substantial. Derek's face went white. Criminal charges? I looked at Diane, then back at my brother. I thought about Mom and Dad, About our family splitting down the middle. About court dates and lawyers and watching my brother potentially go to jail. I'm not filing charges, I said finally. Derek's shoulders sagged with relief. But, I continued, my voice steady now, I am done with you. Completely. You don't get to be my brother anymore. You don't get to call me, text me, show up at family events I'm attending. We're done. Mara, and if Tom Benson ever works in recruiting again, or if any trace of these videos continues to circulate with your involvement, I will file those charges. I will pursue every legal avenue available. Do you understand? He nodded. Mute. Say it, I demanded. I understand, he whispered. I stood up. Diane gathered her files. Derek sat there, head in his hands. As we walked to the door, I heard him say one more thing. I'm sorry. I didn't turn around. Sorry doesn't unring a bell. Sorry doesn't give me back what he took. Outside, the Seattle rain had started again, soft and persistent. What about Tom Benson? Diane asked. I want him gone, I said. Whatever it takes. She nodded. I'll make some calls. Tom Benson's recruiting agency, TalentBridge Solutions, closed its doors 6 weeks later. Turns out Derek wasn't his only client for creative solutions. Once Diane's investigators started pulling threads, the whole operation unraveled. Tom disappeared, probably operating under a new name somewhere else, because people like that always do. But he'd never work in legitimate recruiting again. Derek's consequences came faster than I expected. I didn't leak the story. Didn't have to. Jason Kim, feeling guilty for not speaking up sooner, told some people at his current company. They told others. In the tech world, word travels fast. Within a month, Derek's LinkedIn was flooded with connection removals. His applications went unanswered. I heard through a mutual acquaintance that he'd been let go from his current position, not officially for the deepfake situation, but because things weren't working out. In our industry, you can't hide something like that. The Whisper Network knew, and they remembered. My parents called, first Dad, then Mom, both separately, both asking the same questions. Is it true? Did Derek really do that? Can't you forgive him? I told them the truth, showed them the evidence, watched my father's face crumble as he realized his son had committed fraud against his daughter. He was struggling, Dad said weakly. He needed to take responsibility for his own life instead of destroying mine, I replied. I'm not discussing this anymore. Mom tried a different approach. He's your brother, Mara. Family forgives. Family doesn't sabotage each other, I said. I'm drawing a line. You can choose to respect it or not. But I'm not changing my mind. They didn't disown Derek. I didn't expect them to. But family dinners stopped happening. Holidays became negotiations of who gets which day. The unit we'd been, however dysfunctional, splintered into pieces that would never quite fit back together. And the deepfakes? They never fully went away. Diane's team got most of them scrubbed from major platforms, filed DMCA takedowns, sent cease and desist letters. But the internet is forever. Some copies still float around in the darker corners. Every few months, I'll get a Google alert about one popping up again. I set up alerts. I monitor them. I send takedown requests. It's become a part of my life. I never asked for this constant vigilance against my own digitally fabricated shadow. The cloud sync position? Gone permanently. They never responded to any of my explanations. Probably had legal counsel advise them to just move on, avoid the liability. I applied to dozens of other companies over the next 6 months. Got rejection after rejection. Some were form letters. Others were just silence. The deepfakes hadn't gone viral enough to make national news, but they'd spread far enough in tech circles to create doubt. And doubt is fatal in hiring. I burned through my savings. Took contract work, the kind of gigs where they don't background check as thoroughly, where they just need code written and don't care about your reputation. I was good at what I did. The work got done, but it wasn't the career I'd built. It was survival. Some days I'd lie awake at 1 a.m., staring at my ceiling, thinking about the sliding doors moment. If I hadn't mentioned the cloud sync offer at that dinner, if I'd noticed Derek's reaction, if I'd been less successful, less visible, would he have still done it? Or was my existence as a competent woman in tech always going to be a threat to him? I'll never know. 1.5 years after everything fell apart, I was working for a small startup called Beacon Analytics, 40-person company, Series A funded, decent pay, but nothing spectacular. They'd taken a chance on me after the founder, a woman who'd faced her own share of industry bullshit, actually listened to my story and believed me. I kept my head down, did good work, avoided conferences and public speaking, tried to rebuild a reputation one pull request at a time. Then one afternoon, I got a LinkedIn message from someone I didn't know. "Hi Mara, I'm heading up engineering recruitment for Quantum Dynamics. I know your history. I also know it was fabricated. We're looking for senior engineers who've proven they can weather storms and keep producing quality work. Are you interested in talking?" I stared at that message for 20 minutes. Quantum Dynamics was a mid-sized tech company with solid funding and good products. Not cloud sync level prestigious, but legitimate. Growing. The kind of place where you could build something real. I wrote back, "I'm interested." 3 months later, I started as a senior software engineer at Quantum Dynamics. The offer was 135. Oh, not the $180,000 I'd lost, but honest work with people who knew my story and hired me anyway. It wasn't the happy ending I'd dreamed of, but it was a new beginning. 3 years have passed since the deepfakes first appeared. I'm still at Quantum Dynamics, now a lead engineer with a small team under me. I'm good at my job. My colleagues respect me. I'm rebuilding, but I carry scars that don't show on a resume. I don't post much on social media anymore. Can't risk giving anyone more footage to potentially weaponize. I'm careful about who I trust. I've become hyper-aware of every video recording, every company camera, every potential vulnerability. The relationship with my parents has improved somewhat. We have dinner every few months. Don't talk about Derek. Pretend that absence at the table doesn't mean anything. I haven't seen Derek in 3 years. Haven't heard from him except for one email about a year ago. Subject line: "I'm sorry." Body text: "I know you won't respond to this. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I'm in therapy now, working at an Amazon warehouse. It's the only place that would hire me after everything got out. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm just asking you to know that I understand what I did. I destroyed the person I should have protected most. I let jealousy turn me into someone I don't recognize. You were right to cut me off. I'm trying to become someone better, even though it's too late for us. I hope you're okay, Mara. I hope you found a way forward. I'm sorry." I read that email 3 times. Then I archived it without responding. Maybe someday I'll be ready to reply. Maybe someday the anger will fade enough to make room for something else. But not today. Not yet. Some people have asked me if I regret not pursuing criminal charges, if I regret letting Derek essentially get away with it. I don't think he got away with anything. He destroyed my career temporarily, but he destroyed his own permanently. He lost his sister, fractured his relationship with our parents, and torched his professional reputation in an industry where reputation is everything. He's living with consequences. They're just not the ones I imposed. As for me, I learned things I wish I hadn't needed to learn. I learned that family doesn't mean unconditional loyalty. That sometimes the people closest to you harbor the deepest resentments. That success can make you a target, even to the people who should be celebrating you. I learned that the justice system isn't built for cases like mine. That deepfakes and digital defamation live in a legal gray area where proving damages is nearly impossible and pursuing charges costs more than most people can afford. I learned that cleaning up a destroyed reputation is a marathon, not a sprint. That some stains never fully wash out, no matter how much truth you throw at them. But I also learned that I'm stronger than I thought. That rock bottom isn't the end if you refuse to stay there. That the people worth keeping in your life are the ones who believe you when the evidence seems damning. If you're reading this or listening to this because something similar happened to you, here's what I wish someone had told me: document everything from day one. Screenshots, timestamps, metadata. Build your case before you need it. Find a specialist. Digital defamation lawyers exist for a reason. Don't try to fight this alone. Accept that some people won't believe you. That's okay. You don't need everyone to believe you, just the right people. Understand that the legal system is slow and imperfect. Sometimes the best justice is simply surviving and rebuilding. Set boundaries even with family, especially with family. You don't owe loyalty to people who've weaponized your trust. And know this: deepfake technology is only getting better, more accessible, cheaper. What happened to me will happen to others. is already happening to others. We need better laws, better platform policies, better ways to verify authenticity in a world where seeing is no longer believing. Until then, we survive, we document, we support each other. We refuse to let the people who tried to erase us have the final word. Derek tried to write my ending. He failed. I'm still here, still coding, still building, still refusing to disappear. That's my revenge. Simply continuing to exist competently and unapologetically in a space he thought he could steal from me. Some days that's enough. Some days it has to be.
Thank you for staying with us until the very end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, like it, and share it. See you soon.